This is Atlanta, where in a 24. Further new structure, government has massive urban jailed over $1. Senator of and today's shows that the president he's Fred for coming out in large numbers to vote for the candidate. Not that player and immediately strong voices for the state at the national independent free peace these are commitments working with all less coalition to advance the progress and the development of the state. And those fight civilian of extort city, the police, the public of the command, who this Sunday in a statement gave the names of civilian suspects as Charles Ona, Joseph Ohiz, and N. Ago, and alleged that the civilians have been collaborating with the police inspector serving in the command to terrorize residents of the state through acts of extortion and harassment. The arrest of the suspect followed a video in which the victim alleged that he was abducted by policemen and subjected to intimidation, his phone and belongings to taking. The spokesperson of the president, acting on the complaint and other reports, said the Commissioner of Police, Edo State Command, Monday, that perpetrators be identified and arrested without delay. He also said the Commissioner of Police, who strongly condemns the shameful and criminal act, vowed that the suspects would face the full wrath of the law, while the command further issues a stern warning to all officers that any policeman found engaging in misconduct, extortion, brutality, form of corrupt practice will be swiftly dismissed, arrested, and prosecuted with the laws of the land. The commissioner called the public victim in a viral video to come forward and assist those with credible information to ensure that justice. The command remains unwavering to protect lives and property, public trust, and uphold of the Nigerian police force. Akwa Ibom State Governor Omar has warned cronies and political associates not to bother calling him for slots in civil service job openings in the state, as they will be disappointed. And he gave the warning at the monthly prayer service at the Latter House Chapel, Government House, Uyo, adding that the screening for the job would be computer-based to ensure a level playing field for every Akwa Ibom youth who applied, stressing that out of the 15,000 who applied, only 3,000 will be offered engagement. The governor urged prospective applicants interested in one job or the other to visit the portal, adding that many have secured different kinds of jobs without knowing anyone. The governor, who recalled the two-day intensive project inspection across the state, expressed delight at the pace of work and a large number of youths engaged at different sites. He disclosed that the third phase of the food distribution for the vulnerable will begin on August 2025, and that the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs will post dates for the different local government areas, and also called on stakeholders to get involved in the coordination in their respective areas, and urged the youths to desist from fomenting trouble during the process, as only vulnerable citizens with food vouchers are expected at the distribution centers. Operatives of the Akwa State Police Command recorded a major milestone in their crime-fighting efforts with the arrest of a wanted kidnap kingpin, Okon Asokwo Udo, linked to several high-profile kidnapping cases in the state. The public statement released in Uyo on Sunday said the suspects who in the Okobo area was arrested in the village several months. Tim Fon said the suspect had been on the command's wanted list over alleged involved in multiple kidnappings, and investigations have revealed that suspects in the kidnap of a paramount ruler named withheld in October 2024 and the wife of an ex-executive chairman named withheld in November 2024. According to her, the suspect is also believed to have been a participant in kidnapping activities across the Oron, Mbo, and Okobo local governments. The commission also said these investigations are currently ongoing and recover the operational weapons. Police operatives from the Cross River State Police Command have attacked South and have arrested 3 suspects and recovered firearms. SP Irene Ugbo said the incident occurred when officers from Uwanse Division and operatives intercepted to abduct one 38-year-old in KROM Peter at his Enobong Avenue residence. It reportedly on site in the police a gun that led to the arrest, while others escaped. Police Rashid Afebua warned criminal gangs to desist from unlawful activities, urging residents to provide timely intelligence security operations. Efforts were ongoing to apprehend fleeing accomplices for prosecution. Shayi Makin, the FM headquarters in Ibadan, part this Friday. Who arrived at the station sympathy to the chairman of the station, Dr. Ayefele, and the management. A statement by his Suleiman Olarewaju said the has become a wake-up call to the government management and fire response, adding sit with the headship of the Oyo State for a view to rejigging the service for a more effective service delivery. We appreciated God that no life was lost. Fano promised that the state government support the station towards ensuring that it does not stay there for long. As in his response, IFL thanked Markinde promptness of his visit to the station, which to him showed he is a care. He equally appreciated all the fans of the radio station in the first responders outside the country, calling on them to all join hands with him towards rebuilding the station. Our state government has launched a new portal aimed at boosting in the state. Sunday, the state's and enlightenment, Kolabo Alimi had explained that one of the key features of the portal is it's in the state's flagship of occupying 5 days. Co-fund 45 days program and the harmonized bill, both designed to cut red tape, improve transparency, and business approvals. He said the digital platform unveiled on Sunday was introduced by the state governor Ademo Deleke as part of John's commitment in both local investors, adding that the platform is a gateway to get information on how to establish businesses. The statements report conceptualized and delivered under the Office of the Special Advisor on Information, Technology and Digital Economy, a one-stop digital gateway for investors, provides comprehensive on investment opportunities, sector profiles, incentives, and step-by-step guidance in businesses in Osun. He quoted Governor Adeleke reaffirming his administration's mission to institutionalize doing business in Osun and how the firms to provide direct assistance to investors, stressing that the investor is part of the State Investment Promotion Agency in the Office of the Special Advisor on Information Science. Omar Bago of Niger has donated 100 bags of rice and 10 cows to the National Youth Service Corps to in the ongoing cause. The coordinator of the scheme, Mrs. Martina Schwaibu, said this during the presentation on the NYSC in the Paiko local government area of the state. She commended the governor for his commitments towards improving the well-being of corps members posted to the state, adding that shows the state government's commitment to welfare to settle down and offer diligent service in the state. This is coming after the governor donated 6 payment of 200,000 naira each to each of the 1,600 corps members of 24 Batch 1. JOS Operations Officer of the National Emergencies Management Agency, NEMA, has conducted an on-the-spot flood-ravaged communities in Shendam local government area of Plateau State. This followed a recent wind and several hectares of rice farms which were washed away by flood. The NEMA team, which was by the Chief Relief and Rehabilitation Officer, visited the affected villages, which include Anguan, Zam, and during the visit, the village head of Sheman Kat, His Royal Highness, who received the palace, said the incident which occurred on Sunday, 3rd August 2025, has affected the people and their sources of livelihood. The head called on NEMA, the federal government, as well as relevant bodies to come to their aid and bounce back, while the secretary of the local who represented the chairman, Nicholas Nshe, commended NEMA for its continued in addressing the plight. The assessment was undertaken by NEMA officials in collaboration with officials from the Shendam local government area and the local government emergency management. The Adamawa State People's Party, Shehu Taher, has declared that the party which yes constituency election conducted last Saturday Independent National Electoral Commission in court. The Assistant General of Taiwo Adeleke of Secretary had a active cover for the Congress to results of the election. He said in Mustafa Salih sweeping election materials in his vehicle in the presence of the AIG and him to go about freely without arresting him. Reacting to this, Adamawa State Police Command SP Suleiman admitted that a box behind INEC name was uncovered in the vehicle, while the APC spokesman Mohammed commended INEC free and fair conduct of the election. Kidnapped victims have freedom in Kebbi State after police operatives these local government area. The State Police Public Relations Officer CSP Nafiu Abubakar. The rescue operation took place on Friday near Dan action of gunfire, while the security team, Divisional Police Officer of Riba, reportedly overpowered the bandits after hours of fighting. The victims were identified as 26-year-old from Kembawa village in government area of Kebbi and Ishwaka Bodun village in local government area of victims were seized on August 9 while herding cattle in Gairi Forest, Zamfara State. Police confirmed that both men were rescued without taken to hospital for medical checks and have since been reunited with. Kebbi State has been thrown in following the death of the Emir of Zuru, Major General Muhammadu Sani, retired. The Emir passed away on Saturday night at the age of 81. The State Commissioner of Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Alhaji Garba Umar Dusin, confirmed the monarch's death in a statement released to journalists in Kebbi on Sunday. According to the statement, he died in a to love illness, and he survived 4 wives and 7 children. In a condolence message, the Kebbi State government expressed deep grief over the passing of the revered traditional ruler, describing him as a respected leader whose contributions to peace and development will be remembered. Independent Electoral Commission INEC has declared the Kauran Namoda South State constituency by-elections. The returning of Lawal Sayudu of the Federal University Gusau, who disclosed the last and cancellations in 7 minutes. According to him, the margin between the parties, the All Progressives APC, which polled 7,001 votes, and the People's Democratic Party PDP, which scored 5,339 votes, is 1,662. The figure is lower than the 3,065 permanent vote card PCs collected in affected polling units. INEC polling units were cancelled at Jigi, 1,012 collected PVCs, and 3 in Kiambarawa ward with 1,964 collected PVCs. In total, 5,446 voters were registered in the affected areas, stressing that by provisions of the Electoral Act 2022, INEC said the exercise could not be concluded until a rerun is conducted in the affected areas. The Commission also said a new date for the rerun will be announced in due course. Following the recent heavy rain, with swift response to emergency management agency, Ahmed indicated management national management agency as the committee cross for civil of this SEMA situation in the town. 21 cross 5 impact specific communities: Old Prison, Marche, Uguma Makafi, Uguma Bajaje Bakin, Kwari, and Sangaya, Bayan Garen, Juma Jig, and Ara Tan affected. Of young children, damaged processes on with the appreciation of public schools as they were necessary assistance and uphold transparency in Global News on Atlantic Television. We'll be back. Break. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the Global Vision. And now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated former military president C. Babangida IBB. He is 84 on his 84th. His special advisor on information and strategy described the former military head of state in Nigeria's economic and development. The president highlighted Babangida's military at the Academy, commander of the 4 Reconnaissance Regiment and Armored Corps, Director of Army Staff Duties, and Chief of Army Staff was commendable. We recall that Babangida's administration was marked by major infrastructure, the third main, as well as reforms that liberalized the Nigerian economy. He also said the Security Agency, Defense Intelligence Agency, and the Federal Roads during Babangida's allocation of new capital from Lagos. Tinubu prayed for Babangida's continued good strength. Inspector General of Police IGP Kayode Adeola has ordered a comprehensive investigation of police personnel in South Asian following human rights reported by Amnesty. A statement from the death was public officer DCP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, the other page was Amnesty International titled "The Decade of Impunity, Attacks and Unlawful Southeast Nigeria." According to him, the is a part of extrajudicial killings and human rights violations. The Nigeria Police Force and other security agencies that the IGP's resolve and to transparency, accountability, and operational professionalism. He has directed relevant departments and acted field formations to undertake a meticulous line assessment of the report. The process, according to him, will involve crossing the allegations with internal courts, field intelligence, and reports from and tactical units within the Southeast region. Adejobi said while the Nigeria Police Force remains committed to upholding the rights of all citizens, it is equally necessary to place on record that previous reports by Amnesty International occasion included factual receipts and sweeping generalizations, adding that the current guided facts, opinions, and dedicated integrity. Also said the Inspector General of Police is medium to reaffirm the force's commitment to lawful, accountable policing, adding that the force will not lose focus on its efforts to enhance mechanisms, improve training, and also deepen institutional norms. That the Nigeria Police Force remains open to genuine civil society organizations, institutions, and the National Commission. And that police encourages all stakeholders to approach such matters with objective accuracy and a balanced understanding of the complex security realities confronting the country. Vote buying and low voter participation, the by-elections conducted on Saturday in some states, so few vacant senatorial and representative states. The vacant arose from the death and resignation of former occupants of the positions, prompting independent to declare seat. According to INEC, of 3,553,600 registered voters were eligible to participate in the by-elections across 32 local government areas, 356 wards, and 6,908 units, and the by-election hold in 12 states. In Ogun State, the exercise took a dramatic turn when security operatives of the Democratic Party that suspected to be INEC officials and the suspects. PDP chairman Abayomi tested with large sums of for vote buying during the Remo Federal Constituency House of Representatives by-election. In the viral video, those who identify themselves simply as Constance and Amina, we are seen squatting as security officer interrogating them. Said intelligence reports indicated that the INEC staff had earlier been contacted and given a large sum of by officials for vote buying during the by-election. However, tell the state PDP chairman in the video instead the INEC staff and confirming the arrest. The state commissioner Lanre Ogunlowo said the command had opened an investigation into the incident. However, the state PDP condemned the arrest of its chairman as intimidation harassment backed by security agencies to give them an upper in the election. In a statement on Saturday, Kayode said it was the start that the police and who were entrusted with upholding law and order clear complicity in a deadly and cowardly act. The party said behind the real perpetrators of violence, Secretary of President therefore harassing and victimizing opposition parties. Minute Commissioner of Police Larry Ogunlowo, in a statement signed by the state PPRO Omolola Odutola on Saturday, all respect the transport department around for immediate discretion. Two top leaders of the rule Muslim and Al-Qaeda affiliates in Nigeria are arrested by the security agents. Muhammad Usman, also known as Abu Barai Abbas or Mukhtar, identified as the self-styled emir of Ansar, is the Mahmoud al-Nigeri, also known as Malam Uda. The National Secretary Nuhu Ribadu, who discloses at the press briefing held at the office of the security advisor in Abuja, said the suspected terrorists were arrested following a month-long counter-terrorism operation. An intelligence-led operation was carried out between May and July 2025 in collaboration with security and intelligence. According to Ribadu, our coordinated terrorist sleeper cells across the country demanded high-profile kidnappings and to finance terrorism, adding that Mahmouda led the Mahmoudawa cell around Kenya National Park and Libya between 2013 and 2015 under foreign instructors. He is also the master of several high-profile kidnapping robberies, finance terrorism over the years. The NSA said the two men on Nigeria's most wanted list also wanted. According to him, the responsible for attacks, including 2022 Kuje prison break, the attack on Nigeria's uranium facility, the 2013 abduction of French engineer Francis Colomb, and the 2019 kidnapping of Alhaji Musa Omar Oba Garin Daura, and they had captured, dismantled Ansaru's Central Command structure and marked a significant achievement in Nigeria's fight against terrorism. The Ribadu also called on citizens to remain to provide timely information to authorities. National Crime Commission over $5 billion and $10 million for contractors and government officials indicted fraud in the turnaround maintenance of the refineries Court, Kaduna and Warri. Owing to this, so his discussion with the non-refineries in spite of Ngo's spending on them, Nigeria in large for decades despite several attempts at action. Administrations have budgeted billions of dollars for their turnaround maintenance, but the facilities in the Warri, Kaduna, to underperform, in the country to rely heavily on petroleum products. The anti-graft agency fraudulent, including over invoicing, contract inflation, and questionable payment to function huge spending over the adding that former management teams refineries were repeatedly interrogated in discoveries. The EFCC had concluded in official National Petroleum alleged in the rehabilitation contract and its against on the turnaround maintenance refineries in Warri, Kaduna, major discoveries of large-scale fraud. Georgical agents spread across the country from Sunday to Tuesday. NIMET's weather outlook Saturday visaged moderate rains over parts of Taraba, Bauchi, Gombe, Katsina, Kano, Yobe, Borno, and on Sunday. StarTimes with moderate rains over parts of Zamfara, Jigawa, Kano, Katsina, Gombe, so Kebbi, Yobe, Borno, Adamawa, and Taraba states later in the day. Excuse me. The agency the southern region during the morning period. Moderate rains are expected in parts of Anambra, Edo, Ondo, including Imo, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, and Lagos State. It predicted the high possibility of flood occurring in parts of Osun during the forecast. Thunderstorms on Monday with moderate rains in parts of Bauchi, Borno, Adamawa, Gombe, Taraba, Adamawa, Yola, Sina, Yobe, Sokoto, Kebbi, and Kaduna during the forecast. It also indicated that cloudy skies over the southern region during the morning hours in parts of Ogun, Osun, Ondo, Ekiti, Enugu, Anambra, Edo, Delta, Cross by and Lagos State later in the day, while Nimet morning thunderstorms on Tuesday, trains in parts of Katsina, Sokoto, Zamfara, Yobe, Adamawa, Borno, Jigawa, Kano, and thunderstorms with moderate rains are expected in Kebbi, Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, and Adamawa states during the afternoon, evening hours, and Nimet advised states with the possibility of flash floods to activate emergency response plans, especially the places highlighted in red. And now business news. Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission has to the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission as public partnerships, decentralizing approval powers of ministries, departments, and agencies. The guidelines provide requirement the project approval board for the new approval thresholds of $1 million for ministries and for agencies and parastatals as a full business and guides the procurement routes. Agreements, among others, the new guidelines were introduced to regulate the development and implementation of PPP projects in Nigeria to accelerate and attract private sector investment. A statement by the Commission on Sunday said the framework was developed under the ICT Act 2004 in perspective in Nigeria's infrastructure delivery PPPs and was formally unveiled during high-level stakeholder engagement with representatives from all MDAs of the federal government directly involved in PPPs. The director of ICRC Jobsin led the guidelines, taking steps to each section, responding to questions to ensure a clear understanding, adding that by the end of the engagement, participants expressed strong support for reforms and a readiness to immediately begin new guidelines. That is the role of the ICRC as a regulator of PPP, not an operator or of projects, and inform the participant commission will continue to facilitate and coordinate between MDAs and private proponents to ensure the and conditions of to parties are implementable. They underscored the presidency's decision to deliver approval authority to MDAs, with ICRC regulating the process, also comes with heightened accountability and zero tolerance for non-compliance, and its commitment to collaborate with MDAs, private investors, financiers, and development partners to reposition Nigeria as a country's leading destination and transport project. Nigeria has retained its position debtor to the World International Development Association with outstanding $18.2 billion, and this marks from $16.5 billion in June 2024, representing its $1.7 billion or roughly 10.3% increase within 1 year. Latest IDA's financial statements show that Nigeria first climbed to third place in 2024 its previous position as the fourth largest in three and has maintained this ranking into 2025. The IDA is the concessional lending arm of the World Bank Group, offering low interest or free loans to the world's poorest countries, while the debt owed to the IDA typically comes from maturities and general periods. But the group highlights both the scale of interest financing needs and the degree of its reliance on national funding. Bangladesh remains the largest IDA borrower globally, with its debt stock increasing from $20.5 billion in June to $22.6 billion in June 2025. South Asian country continues to dominate the exposure table, accounting for the largest share. IDA's loan portfolio. Pakistan follows as the second largest borrower, with each rising from $17.9 billion to $19.3 billion over the same period. India, which ranks higher, remains a significant IDA borrower despite the decline. It is essential that projects funded by loans directly support the economy's capacity to repay. According to him, Nigeria should be foreign loans due to the exchange rate. Domestic debt generally easier to manage. Excessive foreign borrowing, he put pressure on the country's reserves and further weaken exchange, stressing that a discipline up to debt sustainability will be crucial for Nigeria's long-term fiscal distress. Insurance warned that insurance is to miss the July 2026 recapitalization deadline will face strict regulatory, including liquidation measure. In a circular directed to all insurance and reinsurance companies in Nigeria, the Deputy Commissioner Technical Dr. Usman Dankara said the Commission did not hesitate to take action against non-compliance. The newly signed Insurance Reform Act 2025 mandates new minimum capital requirement for players. Life insurance firms expected to increase to 10 billion naira, non-life insurance to 15 billion naira, and reinsurance companies identified Dankara affirmed that the new MCR will take from the presidential assent July 31, 5, and reinsurance have been given a 12-month period to comply with the new comprehensive guidelines and circulars detailing the modalities for the recapitalization exercise, including the composition of the MCR, before for capital verification. The deputy also outlined the criteria for assets, stating that encumbered assets without preference or ownership, not a possession of an insurer, and in assets that exceed prudential thresholds, excuse me, or do not meet the prescribed criteria, also be deemed inadmissible. NICOM also said it will engage in secure incentives and concessions that may balance and reduce the cost of the exercise, and urged all insurance companies to commence internal preparation, outline a recap plan, and immediate steps to comply with the new minimum period. Insurance warning is a clear indication that made compliance with the new industry in Nigeria, while an insurance that the may including liquidation measure. Nigerian Communications Commission has declared fresh measures in line with the presidential directive to secure assets to the country's economy and security. Telecommunications companies have experienced a sharp rise in vandalism infrastructure in made to the wave of deliberate attacks on operators such as MTN, Glo, tower companies like IHS Towers. NCC Executive Vice Chairman Aminu Maida said the initiative to protect the aimed at ensuring the residents of telecommunications to infrastructure against vandalism, adding that they are working closely with operators, security, and other stakeholders to ensure risk management, response, and residents. Operators reported at least 5 vandalism incidents daily since May 2025 compared to 2 per day prior to this period, amounting to 445 cases over 8, while the most severely hit regions in Rivers, River, and Edo, Kwara, Kaduna, Ogun, Lagos, Kogi, Ekiti, Osun, Imo, and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The NCC identified telecoms-based data centers undersea cable stations, network components as part of the sets and enhanced in welcome, citing incidents of fiber cuts, equipment theft that have disrupted connectivity in the country. The initiative follows the president's earlier directive to agencies to align with the national cybersecurity policy and strategy, which prioritizes the protection of infrastructure, while the Association of Licensed Telecommunications Operators of Nigeria has repeatedly called for involving security agencies and adoption of the Critical National Infrastructure Act to protect telecom sites. Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development has warned the public against falling for the antics of fraudsters with regard to the 53 housing seized by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, which were forfeited to the federal government. Have fled Gaza's Zaytoun neighborhood, where days of Israeli bombardment have created traffic in the city's Hamas municipality, where over 40 people were killed by Israeli attacks across the territory on Saturday. The Israeli military said it intends to be brought into Gaza. Again, Israel plans to forcibly displace 1 million people from Gaza City to the south, adding that in protest at the government's Gaza City. The stoppage was demanded by the families who said the expansion of the war of Israeli as great as it comes a week after Israel to occupy Gaza, the territory's largest city, and displaced 8 population in the move condemned by the UN Security Council. The municipality said mass was already taking place in Zaytoun after 6 days of Israeli airstrike shell operation. Zaytoun neighborhood to about 50,000, most of whom have to the Israeli government provided a timetable of when its forces will enter Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is the entire city Israeli occupation. The spokesperson said of Gaza City infrastructure had been damaged. Over nearly 2 years, attacks from remaining hospitals there were operating at less than 20% of their capacity due to severe supply. The international body has indicated there is widespread malnutrition in Gaza. Back this month, the war scenario in Gaza. Iraqi authorities believed to contain victims of the Islamic State group city. The case, which was launched on August, includes surface level excavation at the Kasfar site. He said the team unearthed human skulls buried in the sand, and Kasfar is located near Mosul, where IS established the capital of their self-declared caliphate for being defeated in late 2017. Assadi said there were no records for the number of victims buried there. One of dozens of mass graves IS left behind in Iraq, but the UN report said Kasfar is the country's largest, while official estimates put the number buried at the site at least 4,000 more. The project director said the victims buried there include soldiers, executed members of the Yazidi, and rest Mosul, adding that the bodies of Kasfar is particularly difficult. As underground sulfur water makes the earth very poor. The United Nations estimate the jihadists left behind more than 200 graves, which might contain as many as 12 graves. And in addition to IS-era mass graves, Iraqi authorities continue to unearth sites dating to Saddam Hussein, who was toppled in a US-led event in 2000. Loan move to French club Toulouse. Orban only arrived at Hoffenheim Junior League One outfit, Olympic Lyon International, spent 1 year at Lyon. To report, the powerful forward is now set to return. French man was not in Hoffenheim's squad. DFB Pokal with Rostock on 7 times and 29 appearances for the Village Boys. He has 4 years left on his contract with Hoffenheim. And now, entertainment news. Nigerian rapper Jude, known as MI, has an Olama Fest for supporting his career, describing her as the most supportive person. The music was the first to make a turn when he was trying to raise money for Mike, adding that she also supports him by following him to the studio and shows and for business despite being a career woman. She was the first person that gave me a check. And that's the global news for before we go and at Okwebelo Tinubu's 2027 re-election chances in Edo. To extort Babangida at 84, government unveils new guidelines to boost. Iraq government uncovers mass IS victims. What plan to lose on rapper murder jailed million favor key question Michael. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook and Atlantic Television Network and Atlantic TV Network, and at the pathways